What's up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Let's get right into today's topic. So I found this clip from the Dr. Phill show, which I found was very, very interesting. And as you can see in the title, in the thumbnail, we're going to be talking about reparations and do African Americans, Black Americans, or FBAs, as they call themselves, foundational Black Americans, deserve reparations. And we have a debate between an older gentleman who looks like, he said he was born in 1937. So he's a lot older than this other woman that he's debating, which maybe I think she's probably 30s, late 30s, possibly. And the funny part is the older gentleman is the one that is against reparation, and the younger the young lady is for reparations. So let's see what they have to say about it. I'll give my opinion. We're going to read some comments at the end. Let's get right into it.
Say you don't support reparations. Why not?
Not everybody suffered equally. I mean, when you go into slavery, it's much more complex than white people were the oppressors and black people were the victims. If you dissect it, you will find there were about 3,700 free blacks who owned 12,000 slaves. Black.
Yeah. So let me interject there right quick. And I had some people that kept saying in the comments that I'm not really, I guess, voicing my opinion about things that we're watching here on the video. So I don't know what they mean by that, because I always say how I feel. So how I feel about this situation, and the reason I stopped it right there after what he said is that's a great question. Do blacks that owned slaves, do they get reparations or do they pay reparations? That's question number one. Question number two, do immigrants, do they pay reparations? Because you guys are asking the government to pay for this. And what most people don't realize is that the government doesn't have any money. The government's money comes from our taxes. So from the ending of slavery up until now, America has had an influx of immigrants migrate to this country, millions of us. So do we pay reparations or do we get reparations? See, because that pool of money that you're talking about coming from the taxes, that pool of money includes some of our money as well. So why should I, someone that has never owned a slave, pay reparation? Because y'all are going to say that I've never, my ancestors weren't slaves in this country. So I don't, that's excuse you guys going to make is that I don't deserve it. Cool. I'm not saying I do. I don't care. But on the other hand, why should I also have to pay because it's coming from my taxes? So you're not separating the tax pool on which money came from white people and which money came from black people. You're not going to do that. The logistics of it wouldn't even make any sense. You will never get any money at that point. So I know I'm not going to get reparations. I don't want reparations. So do I have to pay reparations since you're taking the money that's in the taxes, which includes my money as well and all other immigrants as well? See, these are the questions that these people can't answer. There is no answer to this. It is. The answer is simple. You don't get reparations because the logistics of it alone is not going to allow you to do it. The number said something about $600,000 of the reparation money is going to come from American households. The average income in America is barely $100,000, if not less than that. So you think because they're white, apparently they're wealthy, right? So they got $600,000 just laying around for them to dish out to you guys. It doesn't make any sense. And y'all are going to call me a sellout, a coon, and all that. I don't care because this is common sense logic. You can't answer any of these questions. So what's going to happen with these black folks here that own the slaves? You tell me that.
Slaves. The question is, do the descendants of those free blacks who owned black slaves, do they pay? Blacks really benefited more the first 100 years after slavery we have in the last 50 years. I was born in 1937 during the Depression. Everyone in my small, low-income black community, 98% of the households had a man and a woman raising children. Elderly people could walk safely in that community without fear of being assaulted by their grandchildren. Never heard a gunfire during that time. Never heard of a child being shot to death in the crib. But there are 50 children today who have been shot and killed in our cities. If you're talking about remedies, we've got to look beyond saying that every solution has to have a winner and a loser. that blacks can only benefit if whites lose. We have to be defined more than just victims of oppression. When whites were at their worst, blacks were at their best. When we were denied access to hotels, we built our own. We have to communicate to our people the history of how they achieved in the face of oppression. But if we continue to sit back and say all of the challenges that we face in out of wedlock births of violence, that somehow the control of that is in the hands of white America, and therefore until white people change, there's nothing that we can do. This sets up a terrible situation for this nation. The big crisis facing America is not racial. It is the moral and spiritual freefall that is consuming our children.
Facts.
The highest death rate among black families
Abortion.
is homicide. Among Silicon Valley, the highest level of suicide, 6 times the national average. In Appalachia, there are prescription drugs. And so if we are to address this crisis that is causing our children to lack a sense of personal responsibility or value for their own life, they will take their own life or take someone else's. Mm-hmm. So in order to address that, we must come together and look beyond race and realize America is drowning because it's in a moral and spiritual freefall. None of us should be defined by the worst of what we were in the past, but we should be defined by what we want to become in the future. And that people are motivated to change when you give them a vision of victories that are possible, not constantly reminding them of injuries to be avoided.
Yeah. I think it's not either or, I think it's and. I think we can do both. We cannot ignore the reality of systemic racism and how it's affected the black community. You can't just be like, we need to just focus on our own issues. The violence is happening in the black community, it's the black people's fault, and we need to focus on that. Actually, it's a lot of things. So we can't just separate them and be like, just focus on yourselves, don't worry about racism. It's finding us. It finds us wherever we go. It's not our fault, right?
See,
so
let me stop right there. Yeah, I completely disagree. I 100% disagree because I've been in this country for almost 25 years now, close to it. I don't know anybody that's oppressed. I don't know anybody that's a victim. I don't know anybody that's experienced any type of racism that didn't allow them to achieve their personal goals. Never met anybody. But the thing is, what most people don't realize is people like her, even in the face of evidence, hardcore facts that you can't ignore, she will never acknowledge them. Because people like her are what you call race hustlers. This is their job. They make money off of this. So if this woman doesn't sell oppression and victimhood, she would have to go get a regular job just like us. See, empowerment doesn't pay. And that's the difference between us black conservatives and the black liberals. See, we preach empowerment when they preach victimhood. See, we preach nuclear family, education, law and order, and fear of God. See, I don't know how that is called being a sellout. See, when we preach empowerment, nobody's booking us for shows and paying us to speak on stuff like this and running around telling people that they're victims. There's no money in it. There's no money. Even on YouTube, there's no money in it because conservative channels get censored. We get demonetized. Videos get taken down. So women like her, she'll never admit that because her career will be over. There is no payments, no career in selling empowerment, but there is in victimhood. That was my first point. The second point that I'm going to make is when she said that, systemic racism is keeping the black community down. And I disagree 100% because I am also an anecdotal example. And actually, not just myself, but everybody in my family and everybody that I know that I'm surrounded by. But I use myself as one because I'm an immigrant. See, my skin is black. I am darker than most of you people. So according to y'all's logic, because of my skin color, I should have been a victim of something, oppressed by someone, and opportunities taken somewhere. But that has yet to happen. See, the difference between us immigrants, black, African immigrants, all these labels y'all give people, our morals and our values are a lot different than most black people. And I'll tell you how. We believe in, once again, conservative values. Most African people, most African families are very, very conservative. We believe in nuclear family and mom and dad in the home. We try to stop having children out of wedlock. We pride education. Education is number one. And also we believe in law and order. See, when I was a kid, my dad preached a lot of things. But the most important thing that he instilled in me and my brother repeatedly is respect your parents, which most black community, younger generation don't. They don't care. Respect your elders. They don't care about their elders. Respect your teachers. We see kids fighting teachers all the time now, beating up on teachers, kicking teachers, spitting on teachers. And then respect the law. They don't respect the law. You saw what happened in Chicago a couple of weekends ago. See, that's why most black African immigrants succeed. I don't know a lot of Nigerians, Ghanans, South Africans, Ugandans, Ethiopians that are in the dirt. And the ones that y'all see, y'all gonna use the example, well, they're the ones working in the gas stations. They're the first generation. Those were my mom and dad. My mom and dad worked at Walmart. Dad worked at 2-3 gas stations so I could go get a college degree. I have one. My brother has a college degree and a master's degree. My sister has a college degree and a master's degree. And we're all very educated. I have a very successful logistics business. How were we able to achieve all these things when my parents barely spoke the English? I barely spoke English. I mean, sometimes you probably can hear my accent on a few words that come out. I barely spoke the language. English is my second language. I might sound very, what's the word? I don't even like to boost myself out like that, but articulate when I speak in English. But that's because, once again, we educated ourselves. We read books. We pride upon school. Even though I hated school, I was a horrible student. I really was. But I tried my best because that was the thing. My parents did not play around. They did not play about that. And most African parents don't, and most Asian parents don't. And who do you see in the high totem pole of income, earned income? It's not white people. It's not white people. Go do your research. It's Asians, Africans, people from Taiwan, from China, from Nigeria. They make more on a year-to-year basis than your average white person. The average African makes more than the average white person. Explain where the oppression is there. Explain where the white privilege is in that. See, that's why I don't subscribe to any of this victimhood. Because I've yet to fall a victim of anything. The only thing that I would fall victimhood to is my own ignorance, my own attitude, my own actions. And that's what I preach to my own son. Is watch your attitude. And the only thing that I'm fearful for of my son is not a white cop, is his own ignorance. Is his own ignorance. So miss me with all that.
What you're saying is we need to focus our issues on ourselves and not wait for this. No, we can do both. We can get reparations and we can work on issues within our community as we have always been doing. But we need to start removing the barriers that are there that shouldn't be there.
Man, that's crazy. And what's also crazy to me is that these people like her, are always preaching that they're oppressed, but they also want to get money from their oppressor. If your oppressor is the one funding your life and your lifestyle, they're still going to be the ones in control of you. That does not make any sense. If they just give you $1 million and most of y'all are horrible with money, black community is the biggest consumer in America, y'all just going to give it right back to the white man. So that wouldn't even make any sense. It wouldn't even make any sense. That's why the Democrats want to give it to y'all, because they know exactly what y'all going to do with it. Anyway, let's read some of these comments. First comment says, man, what an amazing message. He is absolutely right. They want us to stay divided and distracted from the real issues, which mainly is the lack of moral and spiritual awareness and the corruption of our children and their values. Facts. There's no God. The people don't fear God anymore. Next comment says, morality has no color. This man knows what he's talking about. The older generation who actually went through hard time wants peace and unity. The younger just see some free money they can waste on shopping and clubbing. I just said that. I literally just said that. All right. This comment says, yes, thank you, sir. This is the part when people jump on him and call him a far right, a sellout, a coon, a pawn to the white man, all that. I hear all day. What? Like I said, empowerment doesn't pay. Empowerment apparently is coonery nowadays. It's insane. Telling black people that they're capable is coonery. Telling black people that you don't need a handout. You can go get it all on your own. Like me and my family did. We didn't have no handout. No white man gave us no checks. Matter of fact, when my parents could have gotten on Section 8, gotten on, what is it called? Food stamps and welfare, they could have did all that. They were working 3 jobs. They qualified 100%. But once again, we don't believe in that. We don't believe in handouts. No, I don't know how the mentality is so different. It's really crazy to me. Let's read a few more comments. Oh, that was the last one. Okay, sorry about that. All right, guys, let me know what you think, man. Let me know what you think. Am I looking into this too deep? You let me know in the comment section. Call me out if you have to. I love it when you do. Make sure you guys like the video down below. And then if this is your first time on the channel, consider hitting the subscribe button for more content. See you on the next one. Peace.